Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
and bored. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode.
That was a big sigh.
Well, I mean, it was a lot to say, and I'm very excited about tonight.
Okay. Christian is very excited. We have not only another episode of Marvel Champions Summer.
That's right. We are in our, is it called the penultimate episode?
Yeah. Yep.
Which means second to last.
Correct.
Until you say there's another one, probably, right?
Yeah, it's just Christian does whatever I want.
Okay.
So
love you.
So we are in the penultimate episode of the Marvel Champions Summer.
Yes.
And we have guests.
We do. We have guests today. Everybody put your hands together and welcome. We should do like an opening ceremonies thing because the Olympics are on right now. Mm-hmm. We can play their national anthems or their favorite songs, whatever, and introduce them. But we have Mike and Steve here from the Critical Encounters podcast. Friends of the show. They're 2/3 of the show.
Yes.
Are joining us. One of their members is off, fighting heroes because you don't fight villains, right, guys? You're the villains fighting the heroes on your show.
That's true, and thank you so much for putting us on the penultimate episode because that's usually the movie where the villain wins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Yeah. Well, welcome, guys. We appreciate you guys being here to talk Age of Apocalypse, who's a pretty bad villain, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like when you think of X-Men, you think of maybe like 3 big bads. Mm-hmm. And I would say he's usually top 3. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, he's definitely up there as one of the ultimates. So, I mean, if you watch any of the 90s cartoon, he shows up all the time thwarting them. His movie appearances haven't been so great, but in the comics, yeah, I mean, there's like a whole Age of Apocalypse set of comics. So he's a big time villain.
Yeah,
big.
He is one of my favorites, probably from the '90s cartoon, and he has a little not spoiler but cameo, I guess, in X-Men '97. So he's awesome. Coming.
Ooh,
yeah, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to it. I've been rewatching all the original X-Men cartoons so that I can like roll into it fresh.
Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking about doing that and then I started it and it does get kind of like long-winded at times, I felt. And so I found a YouTube video that was like 20 minutes recap and that's
the former ones?
Yeah, and that's what I watched. But
well, no, you also, I mean, probably like a year or two ago, like with our kids, you watched all of them.
That's true. I mean, I did that.
I have 8 more to go. 8 more to go. I'm almost there.
Okay, yeah, you're almost there. So let's just start our show like we start the show every time. Just kind of say what's up, and guys, we just want to hear about like kind of what you've been up to this summer, whether that's board games, vacations you've took, and then I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about our initial reactions on the new Marvel Champions expansion announcement from Gen Con.
Yes.
So why don't we just start with Mike? Mike, what's up? What's been going on?
All right. Oh my goodness. It's been kind of a weird summer, but I just got back a week ago from Norway and Iceland. It was fantastic. We went to see the fjords. We saw fjords and 100,000 puffins, and I got attacked by Arctic tern. And for the few of you out there that know what Arctic tern are, you're laughing right now. If you're in the same time zone as one of their nests, they get vicious. But they're beautiful birds. So you hold a stick above your head, so they attack your stick instead of you. And just before they dive bomb, you get a really good look at them. And these things migrate from Iceland to the Antarctic and back every year. They're just amazing creatures. But
and that's something they teach you is to like hold a stick above your head so that they don't get you.
Oh. Yeah, they said go to the bucket, pick up a stick. It's not for hitting the birds. It's for just
self-defense only.
Yep. No, it's fantastic. Cool. So that was my non-gaming, and then just the usual gaming. I'm heavily involved in all of the LCGs, the Marvel Champions, Arkham Horror, and Lord of the Rings. And there's a couple conventions coming up in the fall that I'm going to hit up.
Okay.
And,
Which ones are you going to?
I'm going to BusterCon and then Con of the Rings.
Con of the Rings.
Ooh.
Wow.
They're almost
So-
back to back.
Mike is a host of a Marvel Champions podcast, Critical Encounters.
Yes.
He does not come to the Marvel Champions convention, but he goes to the other two conventions.
It was badly timed.
Yeah. I mean, talk about being a villain, Mike. Come on.
This is public shaming.
Yeah, this is the penultimate episode.
Shame.
Someone has to be the villain.
That's what they expect me to do, Steve.
Oh, okay.
I think he probably has secret podcasts.
Mm. Yeah.
That's what he had. He's got his,
Sometimes I do spring a secret episode on him.
just Lord of the Rings recap from the past
Yeah.
year or whatever. That's great. Norway is a place that we want to go.
I have been, but
You got to go in high school.
I got to go in high school, which is great. But I wish I would experience it much differently as an adult, I think. So, yes.
Yeah,
I want to go back.
That's where our ancestors are from, so we'd,
Oh, lovely.
be Vikings and
True.
Yeah.
do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go
Yeah.
back. That was great.
That sounds like a really, really fun trip.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, how about you? What's up? What's been going on this summer with you?
So I did a week of summer camp. It's not as good as Iceland and Norway, but went camping with the kids for a week. I'm big into like the scouting
Okay.
activities, so we've been doing that. Been playing a ton of Marvel Champions, as well as Imperial Assault. My group plays that. We've been working our way through every single mission. One of our guys is a really nice painter of the minis, so all the minis are always fully painted. So that adds a lot to that game.
That helps so fun. I mean, that helps so much.
So much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you what character are you playing? Do you like switch it up every time, or are you always the same?
Yeah, we
one?
play different characters based on the campaigns. We just finished Twin Sons, which was a lot of Tatooine stuff, and I played a base character. We've basically now played in our group, somebody has played every single hero at least once, so we're starting to rotate around through, and it turns out that a lot of the base heroes are just so much better than the expansion heroes.
Oh,
it's
really?
like the opposite of power creep, and you would think that wouldn't be the case, but it definitely is. So.
Yeah. That's one that we own.
Oh yeah, we still do. Mm-hmm.
We still do. It's in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
It just, for some reason, for us, like the dungeon crawly aspect of it just doesn't. It doesn't.
Didn't catch on.
It doesn't hit.
Yeah, and that one is not fully cooperative, right? You have your up to 4 players, but then you have your Emperor playing the Empire, the bad guys.
Yeah.
And the game is definitely skewed towards the heroes. We lament the villains on our podcast, but really, Imperial Assault is very much skewed away from the villains in that game. So if you're going to run the game, you have to be willing to accept like a dungeon master role, like you're telling the story, and take those couple wins when you get them, because that guy loses all the time.
He's just gonna get beat up on.
Yeah,
That's
occasionally
so
he'll put out a set of here's a whole bunch of elite heavy stormtroopers, and we kill them off in like one activation. And he just looks dejected. We're like, sorry, man.
Well, it's so because that's so opposite of the movies. It's like they're always the underdog, the rebellion. That's funny. What's up with you, Christian?
Well, nothing new. Just
Okay.
no, just normal things. Kids are back in school. It's hot as heck in Arizona, so we don't go outside anymore.
Never.
We try to stay inside. I've been into Star Wars Unlimited a little bit. Got some packs while we were on vacation, so that's fun. I do admittedly need to play it more. And I've said on this show,
man. Oof.
Yeah, I've said on this show before, in terms of Marvel Champions, I'm not good at deck building. In this game, you have to deck build in Unlimited, and so I can't get myself to sit down and actually make a deck to play, other than the ones that are like the pre-constructed ones. So, whatever.
Take advantage of those online resources to net deck something, to get you moving.
Yes.
Then you don't have all the cards like a LCG. You just have all the cards. So you can go to Marvel CDB. You can say, I want to play the new Jubilee. Who has a deck? Great. I'll just copy them and play. And that's great. That is a good way to play these games. But with Star Wars Unlimited, you might not have the cards they're telling you to put in this deck because you haven't bought enough packs yet or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
That's
Yeah.
hard.
That's the hard part too. So I did find some rare ones, and I am trying to sell them. So that's been fun. I have no bites, so that hasn't been fun. But just
TCG
waiting for
player?
someone. What was that?
I think there's a site, TCG Player.
Yeah, that's where they are.
Their...
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I think when I got them, I put them on the high end of the market value, and the market value has dropped even further, and I just haven't adjusted yet. So
You gotta adjust.
supply and demand. You know, I'm learning economics as I play board games.
Look at you.
So
Good job.
yeah. Angela, what about you?
Been playing a lot of Marvel Champions. I feel like that is just my summer thing, and I can get the kids into it. When the kids are with it, Christian's usually not, because we don't like playing 4-player.
Yeah.
It's just too slow. But yeah, I've been really liking that. So
I usually hover.
yeah, you
and
hover
help the
and
kids.
help.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like that's been all consuming. You've been playing a little bit of the Mandalorian Adventure.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very Imperial Assault-esque.
I know, it's like light. Yes.
What is this game?
It's called the Mandalorian Adventures. It is, think of, what is that game? Jaws of the Lion, like Gloomhaven, like the smaller version of Gloomhaven, but Star Wars. And mixed with Imperial Assault. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no minis. Okay. It's just all cardboard, and it has the book that has the maps in it, so that's how it's like Jaws of the Lion-esque. So yeah, it's by Unexpected Games, and so they did 3,000 Scoundrels is a funny one that we have, and they did Voices My Head. It's Corey Knezia is the guy who owns and runs Unexpected Games. He did a lot for Fantasy Flight back in the day. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out if you're a Star Wars fan. It's been pretty good.
It is.
Our son and I
on my radar.
Yeah, our son and myself have enjoyed that.
So the big news is no one here went to Gen Con.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But it just wrapped up a couple days ago.
Yeah, so the announcement you mentioned. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just like just like the show, right? Like the new Marvel Champions expansion. I was always curious on where they're going to go next with the game after X-Men. I think everyone knew that Age of Apocalypse was probably the last X-Men box. I think everybody thought Fantastic Four was kind of like the natural way to go, but I think I was very surprised. So it'd be cool to get your guys' reactions to that and like what you think overall on what possibly could be coming down the road for this game.
All right, well, Mike. I'll start because Steve can definitely expand on what I'm going to say, because I saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the first time 4 days ago.
Okay.
Wow,
the TV show or the announcement? Oh,
the TV show.
Okay.
It seems pretty good. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with it for a bit.
Okay.
But in terms of what I'm expecting, I want to see some Mockingbird, because if anyone reads comics, the self-titled series was released in 2016. It's a 6-issue series of Mockingbird. It is fantastic, and I think that alone deserves her a spot somewhere beyond that basic ally we got in the core set.
Yeah, the one card everyone used for 2.5 years.
Yeah,
she still comes into my bags.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's exciting because I'm not a huge Fantastic Four man myself. I think a lot of people are also expecting Defenders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I was expecting. Yeah.
Maybe because they just really want to play Daredevil.
Yeah, and if you just think of like what's coming down the pipe in terms of movies and TV, like Fantastic Four and Daredevil are getting reboots. So like,
oh, are they?
It makes sense.
Okay,
but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun to see quote unquote normal people as heroes. You know, like
sure,
they're agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so they have powers, so to say. But
yeah, it does seem like they're trying to go a little bit back to street level. I say street level, kind of. S.H.I.E.L.D's a bit different,
right.
But yeah, you're right. Just the non-powered people or the people who are just extraordinary. They're not mutants. They're not.
Right. We might get somebody like a Quake, who does have powers but works for S.H.I.E.L.D.
True.
And wasn't like Spidey and some of his friends or the Champions, didn't they work with S.H.I.E.L.D. at a certain point in the comics? So maybe
I feel like everyone
get some of those guys again, right? Like
No,
But
What about
I
like
would.
a Captain America slash like the Falcon version of Captain America? That seems very shieldy.
Yeah, that feels
I mean,
shieldy. I mean, if we don't get a Nick Fury in the Agents of Shield, then
Yeah.
quit,
No, we
right?
need a Nick
Like,
Fury.
we are though, right? They showed us the silhouettes. One of them is
well, they
definitely
showed
Nick
us
Fury, right?
2 silhouettes. I mean, it could be Nick Fury. It seems like it's Nick Fury, but
Yeah.
they've hit this before, right? Like everybody said, it Beast, 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 and we got Magneto. So,
Yeah.
Right. Now
yeah.
they do the one thing they've always done is they've always split the roster. It's half male, half female, and I
Correct.
don't see them changing that up now. And that other silhouette had no idea who it was. No idea.
Right.
That
You're
hash brow.
talking like Maria Hill, Quake,
Oh, maybe
Mock-
it's Marie Hill.
Yeah.
Mockingbird. I the TV series, you have the FitzSimmons characters. Now, I don't know how much the TV series FFG can, like, who owns the TV series? Is that
True.
Right.
Disney? Is that Marvel? Is that what do the
Yeah,
FFG
that's gonna get
licenses
weird.
allow them to use? Right? I mean, this, Mike, this is a spoiler for way down along the seasons, but there's a shotgun axe that I really hope we get from the TV show. One of the
Ooh.
characters uses.
Oh,
It's
what?
a half shotgun, half. It's a half shotgun, half axe, and I'm like, I want one of those.
How
Like,
does
from
that work?
Oh.
it's basically an axe underneath the barrel. It's like a bayonet, but it's an axe head on the bottom. It's great. It's great for the TV show. It's a lot of fun. I'm like, that was my first thought. Like when they said Agents of Shield, I'm like, shotgun axe. It's some sort of attachment.
It better be in there. Yeah, I'm thinking Maria Hill. If you go for like two like quote commanders, and like she pairs well with Nick Fury, just because they always are working together. At least in the movies, comics, not all the time, but
But she's such a jerk.
Well, she's a director of Shield at a point in the comics, right? So like,
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's
Right,
another
but-
one of those ally cards that we got early on that everybody used. Like, great leadership ally. So there's a chance to give us a hero version of it. So
Yeah.
True.
Okay, if it's not Fury, who is it? Is it Coulson?
oh
Coulson
yeah,
I mean,
Coulson would be cool. It'd be interesting. Could you tell? Like, I haven't looked at the silhouette in a while. Could you tell? Is it like the bald man Nick Fury, or is it like the classic flat top?
right. Nick Fury
bald.
Senior or Junior, right?
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah.
Whoever it is either wearing a skull cap or is bald.
Okay.
Is it the David Hasselhoff Nick Fury, or is it the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury? Right.
Right? Like, who knows?
So-
It's exciting. I wonder what other hero packs, or even let's talk about villains, because you guys are here. We should probably do that.
Oh.
They showed some AIM soldiers, so that tells me that like MODOK is coming.
Finally
Yeah.
some AIM.
Right? Yeah. And I don't know what else you guys may have picked up that I missed.
Yeah, there was just that one picture people pointed out where you had AIM, and maybe so that suggests MODOK and the Scientist Supreme. Shield versus Hydra is a huge thing, so maybe we go back to Hydra stuff, right? We don't have a Baron Zemo villain. We have a Nemesis.
Yeah,
Wow.
it just has the Nemesis. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I
Zemo's
mean,
a good one.
the TV show Agents of Shield they're pitted against Hydra a lot. So if they're banking off of that, so
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm totally interested, but my first thought was, don't we already have Shield heroes like Jessica, Natasha?
Yeah, but maybe they'll just lean into
Yeah.
that a little bit more combinations.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that'd be nice.
they could do like White Widow, like she's around, like from the whatever her name is, the new Black Widow, basically. Elena.
Oh, yeah.
Elena Belova. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the character.
Yeah, Kate Bishop. I don't know. Does she work for Shield ever? That'd be kind of fun. A new Hawkeye.
I hope they don't, only because her own universe is still very cool, and I want to see that coming.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I can see that too. Yeah, there's a lot of fun ones. I think I personally I would love to do like a Daredevil or a Luke Cage. I think that'd be really cool, but
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be in this run. I think they're
No.
still coming.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
gonna do those guys are gonna do a Defenders thing.
They
I think you
gotta.
have boxes of Defenders. You have a boxes of Fantastic Four. You have a box of like the Supernaturals, like Elsa Bloodstone.
Oh, like the creepy
guy on the
people.
motorcycle with this flaming skull. I can't think of his name.
Ghost-
Ghost
yeah.
Rider.
Yeah, Ghost Rider. Like you have all that we haven't touched on in the game series, right? There's a lot of room for other boxes.
Or Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. There you go.
Yep.
You can go places.
Wow.
Well, they haven't announced any of that.
No, they haven't. They haven't. Yeah.
And there's some big villains they're missing out on too. Like
like who?
Well, Wilson Fisk.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, of course.
Dr. Doom.
Doom has to come. Galactus, I guess, right? Like he's a big guy. I wonder how many times would you have to unfold the Galactus card?
It'd be an 8x11 piece of paper. You just keep going.
It's just huge.
Folds onto a card.
We'll have to ask Molly about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get that idea going, that would be amazing.
Yeah, everyone just immediately dies when you unfold.
If you unfold to the full extent, everyone's dead. Yeah.
Nice. It's like the poster in the back of the pack.
Yes,
exactly. They've been preparing for this.
That's what I'm going to do with the posters.
Yeah.
Finally. Well, awesome, guys. Thanks for the catching up with us, and we're going to take just a quick little break here, and then we're going to jump in and dive into the Age
of Apocalypse.
Thank you for finishing my sentences.
This episode is sponsored by Showit. Are you stuck in a boring website template? Maybe you don't even know where to start. Experience the true creative freedom with the drag and drop simplicity of a Showit website. Our website, marriedandbored.com, is a Showit website, and we love how simple it is to create. Get started for free at showit.co. You won't be disappointed.
Well, guys, thanks again for being here, Mike and Steve. But let's jump into Age of Apocalypse. When this was announced, I was super excited. I think, like most people were, to get Apocalypse. Come to find out that it comes with two pretty, I would say, iconic heroes in the X-Men world with Bishop and Magic. Angie, you want to kick us off and talk about either one of those or both?
Yeah, I mean, I love Bishop. I think that I started out kind of rocky with learning how he plays, and then again, another plug for Marvel CDB.
CBD.
Oh, okay. Don't go to that one. And it had a deck about, I don't even know what it was called, energy something, and just, has so many resource cards in his deck. And I mean, I love the playthrough of him, just almost against every villain I've tried. And Magic, I haven't done personally. I've seen her played by both you and my son and daughter. So I like the twist she has where she plays with the top card of her deck face up.
Sure.
But again, I don't know that that's like my style.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear what you and Steve and Mike think about these two.
I'll go first. Let's talk about Magic real quick.
Girl Gandalf.
So we say that because if you play the Lord of the Rings card game, Gandalf hero played with the top card of the encounter deck or the player deck face up, and that's her whole game.
He's allowed to play it. It's the same ability.
Same thing, basically. I think Caleb designed both characters, so that makes sense.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, so anyone listening doesn't know her gimmick, that when she's in hero form, the top card of your deck is face up, and you can play it as if it was in your hand, and she has ways to swap cards with your hand for the top deck, and she has all these different effects, like one of them here, mystical armor. It's an upgrade, and when it's out, it says while the top card of your deck has a energy or wild resource, she gets +1 defense. So she has all these effects that will play off of that icon that is on your top. So you have to be paying close attention. You have to be sequencing just right. She's not a hero, I think, that you can just sort of like Captain America can just be like, I punch and stand up. I punch and stand up. Like you have to really be paying attention. But she can have some really powerful turns. You can make these neat loops. I'm the kind of player who likes to fiddle around with my stuff, even if I only make a little bit of progress, but I do 100 different things. So she's like right up my alley. I really enjoy playing with her. And her cards all give these fun effects. Nothing's crazy over the top. It's not like she deals 40 damage, but you could just sequence all these different things. So I really enjoy her.
What is your favorite aspect to pair with magic?
I think it's going to be aggression, which she comes with, or maybe justice, because leadership, you can put out more allies and things like that, but that doesn't have that same effect of like, here's this event sitting there or transfer event in and know what's going to happen. I don't know. I like those two. And I'm not a huge aggression player, but she seems to work well with it. But Mike, have you played her in protection?
I actually haven't played her very much at all. I like to try them with the precons first, so I get a feel for them. I got distracted heavily by Bishop.
Okay.
Yep.
So I had the same kind of reaction that Angela did. Like, it just turns deck building on its head. And I just pulled out my deck list. I had 16 resources in that deck.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you just have like energy, genius, strength, and like all the double ones and all
band together, effective leadership, innovation. Yeah.
Digging deep.
Yep. That's 3 copies of Digging Deep. And it's just such a neat little deck. But yeah, actually, I'm just pulling up Magic now. She's got a defensive 2. You can do something with that in protection.
The interesting thing with her in protection is her ability is once per phase. So you can have a protection card on top of your player deck, and it's in your hand. So a lot of times the protection's like, oh, I don't want to use this because then my hand size is smaller going into the next phase. In this case, it's not, because that card is just sitting there. You play it, and then another card is face up. So you have that for the next turn. So she effectively always has a +1 hand size, which makes her pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, you're speaking to my heart right there. That's why I picked up Gamora initially. It was the whole, once per phase. That's why I started using her in protection.
Well, this makes me want to play Magic now.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think I played 2 games with her pretty early on with the precon, and I never do well with those. And then I love Justice, so I try to make a Justice deck with any new hero just to see how it goes. And I think I did okay. Yeah. It wasn't awesome, but I also didn't play more than one game,
Yeah.
Playing the precon, I think, is a great idea. You get the box, you get the pack, you open it up, you can play a game. 1 or 2 games, you kind of see it, right? And then now it's time to deck build, because a lot of times the precons have 3 of something and really you only want 1 of them in your deck, or it's missing resource generation or something along those lines. But and she is much better when you deck build with her. So
good.
Right.
We'll have to take another look for sure.
Yeah, I will. Okay, and then along with Bishop and Magic being introduced in this set, we've also got the whole idea of side missions being introduced in this campaign.
Oh yeah.
So side missions basically represent, for anyone who doesn't know or hasn't dug into the Age of Apocalypse box, they represent like, okay, there's a big fight going on here with the main villain, but there's also like fights around the world, so there's other fights going on, and who are the heroes that are going to go over there? And you're going to need some allies to help you out. And I don't know. I have back and forth feelings about the side missions, and there's some times where I really feel like I balance it well, and then there's some times where I'm like, why is this even here?
Yeah.
So curious to hear thoughts about the side missions.
Okay, so
Steve, I think maybe you go first, Steve.
Maybe I go first. Yeah, I'm also with you on the back and forth. Overall, the idea and the theme of that story, where other things are happening and you're going to take your allies and you're going to say, you guys go over there and do this side mission while I hold back Dark Beast. You go liberate the Seattle Core or whatever the mission might be.
Right.
Is great. I love that story element. Mechanically, I don't really care for them. I played them a couple times. I probably won't play them again. And I don't want being negative on some of the stuff, because somebody out there is going to really enjoy it. I don't want to turn them off from it. But
Absolutely.
The side mission mechanic is not for me. This has been one of those campaigns. I've played it once or twice. I'm done playing the campaign on this one. So,
I like it thematically. I think it's really cool.
It's such a good story.
Yeah.
Part. Yeah.
But it also hinders what you can do because you're like, oh man, I got this great ally. It's like, no, you got to put it over here and ignore it. Like
ignore the text.
Yeah, it's just you basically try to get. It's a numbers game, right? Like you just put as much as you can over here.
Well, even that part is like hits a good theme. Like, Magic could do really well if her brother Colossus was with her, but he's got to go off and do this thing. So like thematically, that feels good. That you can't use Colossus because he's saving the day over there. But then in game wise, I don't know.
I have a rule dispute about this, and I wonder if you guys could settle it.
Oh boy.
So
we're really good at arguing over rules.
Really good.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've never heard you argue about a rule, so now I'm excited.
Listen to our episode on Wild.
Oh, okay.
You've got Tony Fanchi involved in that one, so.
So and then maybe this will be like an easy one then, because I feel like there's probably a cut and dry answer, but I'm just not getting it. So, for instance, a ally like Angel. I've got Angel in my hand. His text reads that if I'm an X-Men, is that what it is? That he costs one less resource to play. So does he cost one less resource to go to the mission, or is his text box blank?
Oh. I would say he costs one less.
Okay.
Because don't you would say costs happen before the card is played.
Okay.
The blanking of the text would happen once it's played.
So you don't play a card and then pay for it.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for it before it comes out. You're paying its cost, and its cost is reduced. And then you're assigning it to the mission area?
And so then its text box is blank, which is fine. It's like, great, Angels.
Yeah, it's after the fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. I like this. I've been playing it hard on myself because I didn't know. I'm like, okay, if I don't know and I can't find an easy answer, I'm going to make it harder.
Yeah, that's one thing you always have done with rules. It's like, I don't know if this is right, but we're going to do the impossible way.
It's not impossible. It's one more resource.
So when a player plays an ally, so in order to play the ally, you must pay its cost, and his cost is reduced prior to playing him. So you pay the reduced cost, then you play him, and then it says you decide where you play him into your play area or the mission area. And once he goes into the mission area, then he's blanked. So
love it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then I don't care if he's blanked. He's effectively blanked anyway.
Yeah. You think anyhow.
Yeah, and you're not swearing when we say blank. You're just
no.
Okay.
No.
Side.
You don't. It's not Captain America in the background going language.
Yeah. Right.
Side note. Just curious. What do you guys do for blanking text boxes and remembering that? Like when you play.
Good question. I have various little tokens, beads, whatever from other games, and I started actually for Lord of the Rings bringing multicolored ones to symbolize different things.
Okay.
Because there's so many as a game goes on. I mean, comes more and more things to remember. So I would just put some obvious token I'm not used to seeing right on the text box.
Okay.
So every time I look at the card, it's like, nope, something's wrong, and it cues me.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's like, why is this dice on this card?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you some of these third-party Etsy token makers have one that just says blank.
Yes, they totally do.
100%.
Yeah.
I just, I'm being like, I don't want to buy it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I just try to remember it, and then I'm sure I forget it later. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on the missions, though.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
Side missions. Go.
So I play this game a lot solo and then some 2-player, but the 2-player usually doesn't happen for a while. So we're still getting through the last box, let alone Age of Apocalypse. So I have only touched it in single player, and it strikes me as being very advantageous in single player because that card that lets you play allies into that area has a once per turn effect that gives you a cost discount, which is great in solo. But in 2-player, no, it's every second round you get a discount off an ally.
Right.
And once you finish the mission in a solo game, that's one extra card in your hand every round. As opposed to a 4-player game where it's one extra card every 4 rounds. It becomes less and less worthwhile the more
Interesting.
players you have. So I was talking to someone who's like, yeah, I did the regular villain, got him down to 1 hit point, and then did the mission. I said, no, I wanted the benefit. So
Yeah.
I do the mission first. I get that out of the way, get the card draw, and then hopefully I'm still alive long enough to actually play it. So I didn't find it that bad. It was a little easy, and I wasn't using magic.
I was gonna say,
like,
Okay.
magic
G
is really
basically
easy.
makes it. Yeah, it's super easy with magic.
But Bishop's got 2 allies with wild resources on them.
Right. Yeah.
And you put, I built them in leadership, so you put an attachment on them. Yeah, there you go. 2 rounds, they're done. You did it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
So-
the thing. Like, it can be. I never thought about. I saw it scale from 2 to 3 and how it didn't become as advantageous, but I never thought about solo.
Yeah.
And how that's going to be. It's not scaling like per player. It's like you get all the benefits.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so bad in solo mode.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I'm never playing with you again.
All right. And with that said, thanks for
It's-
being here, everybody.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, Mike. I've only played it solo as well. And first time through it was like with magic, and you drop Colossus in the side mission every time. He's a wild resource. She knows exactly what's coming, anyways, so you can adjust for whatever the overseer is. I just didn't find it that compelling, like some of the other campaigns.
Yeah.
So, and then I played it without her, and it was like way too random, and I was like, oh, geez, and like, why am I wasting my time over here? And before, like you were saying, you could just clear a mission in a couple turns with Colossus sitting over there, and now you've got the mission team benefit, extra card every turn. So,
Right.
I do like the allies to give you are really neat allies, and it's too bad we can't get them later, like Morph from the old cartoon, and Destiny, and Mystique's wife, that sort of thing. So there's some really cool allies that you can get. So
Oh, from the side mission.
Yeah, from the side.
from the side missions, yes. Yeah,
I
in the
always had
campaign mode.
Destiny.
Yeah, you did choose her.
And I like that it's an interesting spin to just that their text activates when drawn, so that I would always feel kind of safe to send them to the mission, because it's like, well, I've already used that ally for its text, because when they come into your hand, you do whatever it says.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Did you notice the little kick in the teeth they give you on the final mission? It's
Ooh,
really easy to miss, but you remember the steps when you finish a mission? How all the characters get shuffled into your deck?
Okay, yes. Yeah.
In the last mission, they're removed from the game.
Oh. I did not recognize that. I wonder if I played it wrong or if I just.
It's an easy miss, but
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just kidding. You don't get them.
Right. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a unique mechanic that's been added to the campaign. I think each campaign has had their own like new thing. I think this is kind of to me it's a very thematic addition to the game. It might not play well for everybody, but it's kind of fun.
Definitely appealing enough to make you want to see how you play against it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump into the big bad guys, shall we?
Yeah.
There are 5 of them, classic. Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't know like half of them.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah.
So like the first one in the box, his name is, and I might be mispronouncing this, but I think it's Eunice, like my grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how else would you say it? Honest?
I don't know.
I would
don't
say
know.
Unis because we had a
Unis.
few guests on our show, and we had somebody come on and talk to us about a character called Uniscone, and then this was supposed to be her father.
Oh.
You guys
Okay, that
remember
makes
that
sense.
guest we had
Yes.
on, Angela?
Yes.
I think that was us.
That was,
Yes.
yeah. So I don't know.
So I never made that connection.
You're the one
okay.
who told us that. So
I
but
know.
we didn't have this box yet at the time. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
it didn't
Yes,
exist.
in fairness to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, I know you guys usually talk from the perspective of villains, but maybe talk about how a hero would feel playing against Eunice or Onus.
We can do that.
I
We
love
can do that.
calling him. I love calling him
Nice.
Eunice now because that's just stuck.
It's your grandma's
It's my
name.
grandma's real name.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm just looking at the card here, and I mean, anything that says toughness, I immediately hate. So that's terrible. And then he's got like bonuses based on numbers.
Gene pool.
Yeah, and so you get like retaliate, stalwart, and just some other garbage that he just brings to the table. I don't like him.
And they stack.
Yes.
It's not like one or the other.
Right.
He strikes me. I think he's going to grow and end up like the. Oh, no, I'm blanking on the Drang of this box. So it's just kind of the one you can go back to because it's kind of got a Nebula feel to it. Like, don't let the things build up, but it's not as punishing.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad, but it doesn't just like body slam you if you get more than 2.
That Drang encounter like just comes out of the box like just kicking your butt right away. It's like, oh man, I wasn't ready for this.
But it's tough enough, but also I don't know. It lends itself to just a good old beatdown.
And there were times when I played with my son on this one, and I remember it getting like Gene Pool's threat just going out of control, and I just decided, I was like, hey bud, we're just not going to worry about Gene Pool. And we're just going to, like he's just going to be all 3 of them. He's going to have retaliate, he's going to be stalwart, and we have the
extra boost.
The extra boost.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, actually. I like that this Gene Pool side scheme sits out there and gets its counters. A Justice player always has something to thwart. Because every round one is going on there. You're watching the number tick up minimum once a turn, right? So you can kind of plan, okay, it's at a 1 now, it's going to go up to a 2. It's not going up by 1 per player, it's just like 1 total, right? There are some cards that put a bunch on it, but it really punishes you for chump blocking as well. Because if an ally gets defeated by anything other than consequential damage, you're putting some threat there. So you have to, how am I going to defend these attacks? I want to use my allies up for attacking and thwarting instead of defending. So it kind of makes you think about that. And then you know that there are like these infinite soldiers, not just Unis who gets better based on the numbers, but those soldiers can quick strike you, they can surge you, they can come out guard with 6 health. So you're going to have targets for your aggression player too. And then you have like one modular set that you can play around with and make it a little easier or harder if you don't want to use the dystopian nightmare. I found that he's got a bunch going on, but it's not so complicated that I lose track of it. Sometimes I lose track of stuff. There's too many things going on, but this is just, all right, what is this side scheme? Every turn it gets another token. And then as a card comes up, you reference the number of tokens. So
Yep.
He only has 12 health too to start with. So that's pretty low.
True.
Yeah. Now I know some of the would-be heroes out there are thinking, oh yeah, I'm just gonna use some crazy, thwart deck and just thwart all the things off Gene Pool for cool effects. Remember the Gene Pool is permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So a lot of those effects are like when this side scheme is defeated, do X. It ain't defeated.
Right.
Yeah. It stays in play.
Cable. It doesn't
so no
go
cheating.
away.
Yeah, you're right. No cheating, Cable.
Yeah.
That's a good point because you haven't played Cable. Well, yeah, you did.
I didn't play Cable against this guy, but
no,
he's the most recent one I've played a lot of.
So this would stump Cable.
Yeah, I would probably get upset.
Well, what are games for?
Yeah, they're supposed to be fun.
Well, I agree. I think he's a good. It's like, okay, are you ready for this campaign? Here we go. But it's not so bad that you just don't want to pick it up again. So I agree. It's a good start. And then
should we jump into number 2, which is actually
let's do it.
Yeah, 4 villains. This is the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse. And so we've got war, famine, pestilence, death, aka Archangel. I haven't played this one, so I'll leave this one all up to you guys. But how does it play compared to the other scenarios that have multiple villains? Is it similar to like Sinister Six and other ones
Best
as well?
one yet.
Yeah, best one. Yeah, I agree with Mike.
So explain that. Why?
Because, Steve, it just seems simpler for a start. You're not doing a whole lot of shuffling. They're all in play. You're still having that active villain move around. But you can't... The game doesn't get easier as you finish it. Like Wrecking Crew, the game gets a lot easier as you go through it. And
Good
I feel
point.
like the ramp should be going the other way. This one, they don't die until they're all dead.
Yes.
And there's enough tricks in the deck that they can just surprise you at a moment's notice. It is fun.
I love that sentence. They don't die until they're dead.
Yeah, they don't die until all four of them are dead.
Yeah, no,
and in that regard, it's very similar to Proxima and Corvus, which both of you know,
That's
right?
what it
We came on
reminds
and
me
talked
of,
about
yeah.
those two.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I like that they stay out and they continue to attack you. Now, if you knock them down to 0 health, they are weaker. Their effects don't trigger. But
Right.
there are ways that allow them to trigger their effects, which are not good for the players, right? The heroes do not want their effects to trigger. So you want to knock. You got to kind of prioritize which one of these guys do you not want to have the effects trigger. Which one's going to hurt you the most? Knock them down to 0, and then just hope they don't get their health returned to them or something along those lines. Or they are very susceptible to stun and confuse as well, because if you stun them, they don't activate, they don't trigger their thing, their token doesn't
Yes.
move. So
Yeah.
Have you guys figured out an optimal like kill order, or have you not played enough to know that like we have to go through famine first, and then we take out death, and then
I hate war. War has to go down for me first.
Okay.
He's the one that discards
yeah.
your upgrades and supports.
Oh my gosh. I talked about this on the last episode with Grey Crow. Oh my gosh.
Yep,
Discarding upgrades and supports. Why? I just spent 3 resources on that. You can't
Mhm.
discard that. Yeah.
Yeah, like famine, you discard top 10 cards off your deck. Hey, if you've got Digging Deep and White Fox in there, that's great. You might get cards in your hand actually.
Right.
And sure, you look and you're like, oh no, I discarded my plasma pistol or whatever. But in this game, you get your deck back pretty quick, and sure, you get an encounter card. So famine is probably I think is maybe the weakest one.
Depends on who you're bringing, because like Pestilence can be bad if you have
Oh yeah, okay.
it blanks your tech. So if you're bringing a brute, that's fine. But some of the more finessey characters like Ms. Marvel, that can really hurt you.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get those events. Like if you can't trigger your hero, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, you're right. Like Gamora, she doesn't get to do her thing. Like Widow. Yeah, anyone who's relying on that. That's true. Pestilence is pretty bad. Now, it only blanks it for a turn, and then it moves on. So you kind of have to manage for a turn. And then Death just deals extra damage. What is it, like 1 point?
It's
everyone you
splash
control?
damage. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 to everything, which can ruin like Colossus's day, or anyone who's relying on a bunch of tough tokens, or a wide board of a lot of allies that you're trying to keep alive, and now you've just done 1 damage to everything.
Your leadership players are hating this guy for sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit in there for everyone. So.
Yeah, that's why they come before Apocalypse, to really make you upset, right? Well, let's jump into Apocalypse. The main course.
Well, yeah.
Namesake.
Yeah.
The namesake.
The namesake.
Yeah, that's true. So, like in classic, Thanos, he was number 3.
He was number 3.
What's up with that? We have Apocalypse number 3. And what does Apocalypse do?
Well, he can't be defeated.
Okay, game over.
Pretty much ever.
Yeah. Until you get no longer worthy attachment attached to him, which is like signifying that people are aware that he's no longer worthy.
He's no longer the king.
Yes. Threading out, it now just reveals the next stage of him. So instead of, the players lose if this gets completed, it's like it goes on to Apocalypse 2, and then 3, and then 4, and he doesn't get weaker. Guess what? He just keeps getting stronger. And then the required side schemes that they keep bringing out prelate minions, because you're going to have to go through these side schemes in order to get to no longer worthy. but they keep bringing out the prelate minions and they keep adding more acceleration tokens. So you have to really plan when you are going to defeat that side scheme and if it's a good time to do that or not. What do you guys think, Mike and Steve?
I'm trying to refresh my memory because of the 2 apocalypse levels.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
So I'll go then. So this one, there's actually Apocalypse 1 through 4 villain cards. I guess you use the 1 if you want to start off at an easier level. I kind of forget why there's a level 1 there, but
from people like me. Come on now.
Well, I was just trying to think of the rules on that, but so it's similar to a Magneto scenario where there's a set of side schemes that you are trying to burn through before Apocalypse, evolves into his
levels
form.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then causes his Age of Apocalypse. I found this one to be very difficult, at least with the decks that I've built, because those prelate minions are powerful characters. They do some nasty things. You can't target the side scheme till you've killed off the prelate, so you have to go after them. Apocalypse is still doing his thing. He's getting attachments that can be cleared if you defeat him, but if you defeat him, all it does is clear his stuff and clear the threat off the main.
Right,
and then he just resets. Yeah, I find like this is one where you have to sort of turtle. Like I find a way I win is I sit there at the very beginning, I kill off the initial prelate, and I manage threat and I manage Apocalypse until I've got my board built. Then I clear the first side scheme, the Heart of the Empire, I think it's called. And then that flips right to the next one that's got 2 accelerations. Okay, so now I got to worry about it's going to advance even quicker, and there's a new prelate minion. But I've got my board built up, so I can take him out quick, and I start doing this. And then it's like a race to get that no longer worthy on, which is the 4th side of the side schemes, right? You have to thwart these 3 side schemes. You got to defeat 4 prelates. Then you can go after Apocalypse, and maybe by then he's advanced to level 4. And if he would advance to 5, you actually lose. That sort of thing. So yeah, I find if you can manage the first few rounds and hold on and get your board built, you can do it. If you can't do that, I lose quicker to this one than anything else.
Right, because then also you've got that whole side mission happening. So
if you're playing campaign, yeah,
if you're playing campaign. So I just found that this was I think. Right away, and I knew it. I just kind of shook my head at myself, but I was like, "Oh, I cleared that side scheme right before the villain phase," which is terrible because then you get more acceleration. You get a minion that comes out before you can do anything. So it's really about timing on this one, and I have had better success playing this with someone because of the decks we tend to play are very lopsided towards a specific skill. So we don't really tend to play well-rounded decks. So I feel like, I'm playing Bishop and I'm playing him Justice. And I need someone with leadership or aggression to be on my team.
To help balance out what he's throwing at you.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, those prelate minions, if they get to attack, the Shadow King is turning your thwart into scheme. The Abyss guy steals your cards and gets bigger. So I had the Abyss guy come up first. He had 14 health on him because of an attachment. That's the minion. Apocalypse doesn't even have 14 health. Yeah, you're like, Apocalypse only has 9, but this guy's got a 14, and I got to get through him.
These are mini villains that he's just fight for me.
Yeah. Sugarman heals himself 5 damage. So if you don't kill him, forget it. And they have per player health. 5 per player health. So
that's wild.
4-player game, they have 20 health. It's a lot. So
it's so refreshing to see that. A minion that's not going to die the term it enters.
No.
Spoken like a true villain.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I think seeing a minion with per player health in the Rise of Red Skull, I think.
Yeah, the sleeper.
And I was like, what? I don't like this. And now,
All right. Well, yeah, this is just a taste of what Apocalypse can do because he comes back after this guy. And this one for me, honestly, I had no idea this was a thing. I'm still kind of confused on why he's here. I'm sure it makes sense in the story or the little comic.
Yeah,
book.
what's the lore on Dark Beast?
But Dark Beast, do you guys know
Yes.
what's going on with him?
He's from another universe.
Okay.
There's a multiverse where Dark Beast basically learns Mr. Sinister's gene editing.
Okay.
So he is a different beast entirely. You can still play with your beast card. It's fine. It won't break the rules.
And your beast hero that may or may not ever come.
Yeah, it looks like no, hey?
May not
No.
ever come. Yeah.
Oh, was Beast a member of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Was he ever an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Oh.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
too blue,
tried.
Yeah. All right. What does Beast do, Ange?
Okay, so he is all about the settings and environments. So he has 3 of them. See if I can remember them off the top of my head. Genosha, Savage Land, and Blue Moon. Yeah, so you're starting with one of those settings in play, and the rest of those cards are put into the encounter set. And then when you flip to the next beast, let's say you go beast 1, beast 2. So when you flip to beast 2, you're replacing the setting, but you're going to shuffle more cards in. So a new setting is coming out. I don't know how to describe it except to say, like, the settings don't seem that bad, but they would just wear on us when I played. All of them have a bad thing. And then my son's favorite thing to do, and he doesn't realize how that he does it, is he goes, "Oh, this one's the worst setting." And then fast forward to the next day. "Oh no, this one's the worst one." It's like, yeah, because you get used to one.
And you know how to counter it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're just it's a slow burn for me, but I have never defeated Dark Beast.
Really?
Never.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Oh.
But to be fair, I've only played it with a 8-year-old.
That
Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a good time to say I found it the easiest in the box?
No, that's fine. That's totally fine.
That's when you're supposed to say it.
All right.
Just throw me under the bus. No.
Play it again. It's just fun. It's an easygoing fun ride, and you never know what you're going to expect. Steve, that's all I know. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's just
I agree. I think it's fun.
But I want to play it again.
Yeah, try a different combination because you might get a different start or a different combo of the environments. And you can swap out one modular set, so there's some modularity there. You don't, it's not just like the 3 locations.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I am curious, looking at the art of Dark Beast, how the heroes were tricked into thinking that was regular Beast. I mean, he looks pretty evil, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's not a smile, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no question there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not like a power drill that he's using to like repair the X-Jet. That's a bone saw, right? Like he's cutting somebody up.
Yeah, but maybe if Hank McCoy doesn't get his Chick-fil-A sauce in his in his Grubhub, this might be the case.
This might be it. I will say, like how you said it was easy, or the easiest one in the box. It did remind me that when I got to this villain, I experienced a relief being the controller of the game, because I feel like the 3 before that, there was just a lot to remember, and this one wasn't as bad.
This is pretty straightforward, right? Here's an environment. There's not a lot of things on the board at the same time unless the minions start to get out of hand or something like that. It's not like check this side scheme for a number and then reference this keyword and then blank my text box and then remember that
Yes, exactly. The blanking the text box, man, I'm just like, okay, I got to remember that this text box is blank, but only this round. And
I did hear some people say that they were a little thrown off by the theme because he's supposed to go through supposed to have created this time portal or be using a time portal, but then all the places he's going are kind of right now. But if you read the whole thing, it says casting them adrift through time and space. So
Mhm.
somebody tackles him
Right.
before he calibrates it properly. So he never really travels through time too much. He's mostly just bouncing around.
And is that
Right,
where
yeah.
those settings are supposed to like mimic, like where you're getting
Right.
ported
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, we're getting
And
tossed to.
they're all just like classic X-Men locations, right? Like you get to
Mhm.
see a bunch of like the what are they? The
Shi'ar.
Shi'ar. Yeah, the Shi'ar people. Gladiator, he's one of my favorites, and Genosha's, that's classic X-Men. Savage Land, of course, but like, yeah, it doesn't seem time, but
It doesn't seem time related, but it's more space related.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it's because it's Dark Beast's bogus journey, not excellent adventure.
That's what
Excellent.
it is.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yep,
Uh.
that's really funny. Well, and then he ports you straight to En Sabanur, which means apocalypse.
Yeah, it's
in Egyptian, I believe.
the first mutant, yes. So this is the first ever for a villain. We are seeing 3 forms for a villain. You have, front, back, and unfolded.
Yeah, like Angel and Ant-Man and all those guys.
One is better at scheming, one's better at attacking, and one has the best of both.
The worst of
them. Then you've got like power counters on the main scheme, which is basically just like a timer that's going to bring out superpowers. And then the superpowers result in him changing form. And when he changes form, bad stuff happens. And then there's also the ancient ritual side scheme, which is part of a modular set that's permanent. And that just keeps on dealing encounter cards, which is your least favorite thing to get dealt an encounter card.
It is my least favorite thing.
Which is why you hate Star-Lord.
I don't understand why would you want more of this garbage to maybe do one more damage.
So, yeah, I mean, okay, I'll let you guys chime in, Steve and Mike. What do you think?
It's about time the villain's got the double-sided card.
Yeah, it is very, very cool.
Yeah, he's a good hero. He's a good villain to give that to, because he does have that giant form where he just like grows. And he has all these different forms. I think this one is maybe not as difficult as the other Apocalypse.
Yeah, agreed.
It's fun, and it's not like a cakewalk or anything, but I think the original Apocalypse is harder, at least to get rolling on. I haven't played this one as much as the other one, but it's fun. It has the neat effects like Ant-Man has when he changes to this form, do this terrible thing. So you don't want him to change. You want him to stay at what he is, but maybe you don't want the one he's at because you're like, man, his scheme is so high. He can't flip to alter ego, but I don't want him to flip because then he'll do this damage to me if he flips. And you don't really have any control over when he's flipping. You just have to let him do his flip and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's got some wonderful, wonderful tech. If you shuffle in the celestial tech in that one, armors and weapons you can't get rid of.
Well, they're permanent.
They just don't have a way to get rid of them.
They don't have a hero action.
That is terrible.
So there's one weapon, one armor, and then one treachery that fetches one.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've used those in other scenarios, and they're fun because they make any villain just that much better, and it's a small modular set. So
and they are unique too. I'm looking at them here, and they both have they add 0 to either scheme or attack. But based on the card that you discard on top of your deck, you do something bad, right? Am I right? I think I'm reading. Yep. And one of them, if you have a wild, is do all of the above. So.
Which is fun with Bishop because there's a lot of
you have a ton of wilds.
A lot of wilds.
Or Domino. Domino's got a lot of wilds.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I do enjoy the multifold villains and heroes. So that's cool to see that he has that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Angela mentioned the ancient ritual side scheme that is permanent in a setup. And when it hits 10 threat, you remove 5 threat and you get a face down encounter card.
Yeah.
I have lucked out and never had that trigger.
Whoa. Okay.
Managed to thwart it a little bit just to knock it down because it only gets threat from other cards in its set. So you have to draw the minions, or you can get 1Z, 2Z threat put on them, or you can choose put 3 threat or give rid of this card 3 boosts. And it's like, am I chump blocking? Fine, 3 boosts. So I have lucked out where they have not completed the ritual. So
that is cool. because I feel like that's the way to do it, because once you hit that 10, it doesn't remove it all. It removes
just
half.
5. Yeah.
So I feel like you just can't let that one snowball. So that's a good point. I do feel like this one is slightly easier. It's funny because I think we talked about it in the last episode. I don't know how to describe it. The word's not anticlimactic, but like I've been confused by the last villain in a lot of these campaigns, just as to why is this the last one. So I don't know if
you feel like just because he was easier to beat than the other ones,
or just maybe like I mean, Loki and Mad Titan's Shadow and Strife. I'm just like,
yeah. Now
I wonder.
Apocalypse, seeing Apocalypse twice is great. I think having the reoccurring villain, and you get 2 completely different versions of Apocalypse, and this is not like an easy scenario, so it's still worthy of a level 5. But like you're saying, I think Loki was the first time, right? They tricked us. He wasn't even pictured on the box.
Yeah.
They didn't spoil him at all. And everyone was just expecting this big Thanos fight, and we got it early on. And that was pretty fun, actually. I feel like
right.
Kind of getting rickrolled there by the whole, like, wait, it's not Thanos, it's Loki the whole time. And then, but you can't do that every time, right?
No, I know. And then it becomes,
right. But I mean, Venom Goblin, super hard. And that whole story kind of led up to that when I thought, right, like symbiote and Goblin was using the Sinister Six for his own ends.
That's true.
And then, Magneto's the big bad out of the X-Men box, which makes sense. Who was Strife? Yeah, that was the next one that was a little bit like, oh, wait, I didn't even know who Strife was.
Right. That was the one we had to look up too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so.
Yeah, maybe it's the fact that it's like, it's not who you picture.
Well, it is. It's Apocalypse, but you already saw him. Maybe that why is that why?
Well, right. Or like Mad Titan's Shadow, I'm picturing Thanos.
Yeah.
It's not that Loki. It's not that I don't like the story, because Hela is one of my favorite villains. And the whole campaign, whole Marvel Champions series.
Nope, I blanked out.
So I feel like it's not that it's bad. It's just like you want the big ticket, the money maker, to be the 5th villain, and so that's what throws me off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
I don't know. Except that the only thing I can say is that you got at least the epic unfolding art. But
yes, the story always makes sense.
Yes,
and I feel like so this box in general. This campaign in general, and it could just be that it was summer, so I'm curious to get someone else's take on it, but I feel like my brain had to do a lot of work to manage
to play it
campaign.
Okay. Do you guys have similar experience?
I think you're right. Well, definitely the heroes in the box. I would never give these heroes to a first-time player.
Right.
Either of them. I think you're right. These ones are a little more complex. Just thinking back, I personally like the second box in the X-Men series the best, and I think it's also generally on the simpler end. I like the box.
Any last thoughts about all of it?
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, overall good box. I think it's a great capstone to our mutant story. Right. I think. It's not necessarily directly tied to the previous mutant stories, like where the first 3 boxes, Power Stone to the Gauntlet to this and that, like it all the 3 boxes sort of told one cohesive story, sort of. This one doesn't really do that, the three, but the villains are so iconic, they kind of have their own little sub stories. But I think if we didn't get Apocalypse, people would be like, what the heck? Who else would you have gotten for mutants? And we have our X-Force and our X-Factor, and I guess not. It's X-Force and X-Men teamed up. We never got any X-Factor, but still, I enjoy it. The campaign part is my miss, but the rest of it's a big hit for me. So
yeah, and at the time of this recording too, there are still 2 hero packs that are not out yet as a part of this whole Age of Apocalypse wave. So we still have Nightcrawler coming and Magneto, which we mentioned earlier. I'm looking forward to those. I think I'm always looking forward to new heroes. And I think, Nightcrawler is a classic. If you loved the cartoon, you always loved when he showed up. And Magneto is he's not always a good guy. But as in the recent run of Krakoa, he's definitely a good guy-ish. So it'll be fun to play as him as well.
Yeah, he's one of those unfairly labeled villains. He's misunderstood.
Yeah.
Right? His goal is a noble goal, and then we have him donning his white outfit, which lets us know that he's the good guy now.
Yeah,
he's
Magneto the
in
White.
that role. Yeah. He, at one point he runs Xavier's Institute, right? When he's wearing that costume.
Yep.
So he is a little change of heart. So I'm still not sure I feel if he's betrayed us, Mike, as villains or not, or if he's finally done what we've been complaining about the whole time is he's misunderstood and now he gets a hero card. So
he'll be back. He always comes back.
Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Can you play the Magneto hero against the Magneto villain scenario?
I'm going to. I'm definitely
in the
going
multiverse. Yeah, absolutely. Anything.
Yeah, it's comics. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah,
Nebula versus Nebula.
Don't say it.
Wow, so that went a little long, guys, but we appreciate you sharing your thoughts. There's a lot to be said about Age of Apocalypse as it bookends the X-Men experience and Marvel Champions. If you have a few more minutes, we'd love to just wrap up the show with you and talk about, we like to talk about what brings us joy outside of board games.
Yes.
So we will kick this off because Angela and I have we have the same one.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but we have been watching so much Olympics. We both grew up playing sports. Angela more than me, but I did the classic Little League. I did basketball, baseball. I took golf lessons. I did a lot.
Yep.
And so I just love watching sports, and I love watching Olympic sports because there's a lot that are just unique.
Yeah.
We don't get to watch karate or kayaking, just kind of the oddball sports.
Absolutely. I ran cross country, I played basketball, and then I threw shot and disc. So I feel like watching those are so fun. There's very little things that are boring to watch for me in the Olympics.
Yeah. It's sad that it's ending soon, but also it's taken up a lot of our time. So maybe we'll actually get some stuff.
No, maybe we'll get stuff done. Yeah.
But we can play some more Marvel Champions. That's right. Steve, what has been bringing you joy outside of board games?
The TV series Shogun.
Okay.
Ooh.
That is a good one.
We have read.
Yes.
I was going to say we've read that.
Yeah.
We've watched that.
I have read that. I read it a long time ago. And then it was so well done. My only complaint was it was over too quickly. I wanted more episodes. Just the visuals, the acting, the authenticity, the story. I went and listened to the official podcast about it, which I don't normally do for shows. Yeah, that was so good, and it made me want to revisit other Japanese genre things that I've done in my life. I used to play the L5R card game, and just get that book back out. If you haven't seen it and you have Hulu, I think it's on Hulu. Go watch it. Shogun, just so good.
Yeah, how do you feel about a second season? I heard they're doing a second season. And as far as I understand, the book or the first season kind of was the book, or was there enough left out that there are places?
I think there's enough left out that they could have done. I feel like they could have done another 4 episodes. I thought the last 20 minutes of the final episode felt rushed. So if they're going to do a season and they're going to pick up where they left off, then I'm all for it. So I don't know if you get 8 episodes or not, depending.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all for a second season if they keep going with the book and stuff and don't try to just. Well, I don't know. They could probably just go in more detail and add to it, and I would be happy with it. So
Yeah.
as long as they don't like Game of Thrones it, right?
Yeah,
So.
we enjoyed that a lot. I also got interested in historical Japanese things, and so I downloaded I think the video game Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, and it was just if you have PlayStation, it's PlayStation Plus, so it's probably free for you. But I only played like 2 hours worth, but I was like, this is Shogun. Like I felt exactly the same, so it was pretty cool. And you like sneak into a house, and it's like laid out exactly like their little houses were, with like where they drank tea and stuff. So yeah, definitely a good one. So we agree with what's bringing you joy.
Absolutely, that's allowed.
That brings me more joy. So,
Mike, how about you?
Oh, still living off this vacation high.
Yeah,
fantastic. And I mentioned Agents of Shield, which is that'll be my new obsession for the next little while. My wife likes it too, and my dog loves it because my dog can sit between us, and she never lets us sit together. She always has to sit right in the middle. And
yeah, of course.
So she loves TV,
what kind of dog?
Mutt. Yeah, she was rescue and got her just before the COVID lockdown.
Oh, nice. And I'll ask just one question about your trip. Where in Norway did you go?
We hit the outskirts, so we just did some of the fjords. So we did Flom is a big one, Alisund, in and around those areas.
Did you have any lutefisk?
No.
No. Were you offered any?
No.
Okay.
Should I have?
No. It's like a fermented
fish.
Yeah.
Ask Daniel about it. He'll tell you.
Is that the fermented whale that they bury in the ground?
They do bury it. I don't know that is it whale?
No, I think it's like
shark. It's shark.
Lutefisk or something. Yeah.
There's some meat they have to bury it because if it's not fermented, it's poisonous.
Yeah, I think that they do that in Iceland too. But like my grandpa was 100% Norwegian, and he would, back in Minnesota when we were growing up, they'd have like lutefisk nights at their local church, and so they would go and eat this crazy stuff. And he still loves it. He's like 95, and he would eat it today if he could. So yeah, vacation high. We feel that, and it's always.
I had a question for Mike about his vacation.
Yeah,
Mike, are you still pining for the fjords?
Ooh.
It's not pining; it's passed on.
Okay. Woo! For a second there, I thought I was in trouble.
All right. Well, Steve and Mike, we appreciate you coming on the show and chatting Marvel Champions. I'll give you guys a second to just give a shout out to everyone out there, and let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah.
A little bit more information about your show. So, Steve or Mike, whoever wants to take that, go for it.
Yeah. So before we go into where you can find us, Angelo, what are you reading?
Oh my gosh! I thought I was gonna get away with it.
I'm on.
I was gonna rub it in Christian's face.
No, I knew Mike had that. I knew Steve had that in his back pocket, ready to go.
Oh man! All right. Well, I am physically reading the Challenger. It is it's titled The Challenger, but it's also about like the U.S.'s space race, and it culminates with the Challenger, so it doesn't go beyond that. So I'm reading that, and that is a very interesting but also slow read for me because it's very detailed, and I want to read the details. And then I am listening to, what's it called? Like a short, I just started it, so I'm only like 5% in. It's called A Short Walk Through a Wide World. And so far, I like it a lot.
Sounds like it could be a fantasy novel title.
It's kind of got I don't know what the exact genre is, but it's got some leanings that way.
Okay, cool. There you go.
Nice. I feel like I always need to ask, well, what is everyone else reading?
We don't do books.
I just started reading Lord of the Rings to my 10-year-old.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I've
heard of that.
Yeah, you've heard of that one.
I had to stay thematic to the vacation, so I finished reading Neil Gaiman's interpretation of Norse gods.
Norse god, that's a good one too. I've read that.
Yes,
that one's super good.
A lot of fun.
That's awesome. Do you want to continue, Steve, and just let everyone know where?
We're gonna plug our shows.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We are Critical Encounters. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Patreon. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Big Fumloaf, and Wandering Took. We're out there. We'll answer your questions. We like chatting with the community. Our shows come out every Tuesday on your favorite podcast app. And in addition, if you're interested in the other LCGs, Daniel and I Twitch every Monday night. We do a show called Monday Night Twitch. It is very informal. There's almost no video editing at all. It is just a bunch of people having fun, and we get guests on all the time. We oscillate between Lord of the Rings and Arkham Horror. The videos that get streamed eventually get thrown up on YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Wandering Took.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate it, guys. We will definitely we'll do this again. We've had you on like 3 times. We've been on yours like.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
We're going to continue.
Yeah.
We'll talk maybe just regular board games again. I know we did that with you guys. I think it was almost a year ago.
We should definitely do that again.
At the end of the summer, we kind of did a summer recap. So, yeah, maybe we can touch base and just chat beyond Marvel Champions.
Yeah, maybe a live from Gen Con one of these.
One of these years.
We'll meet up at Gen Con next year. So
yeah,
there we go.
It's only I was gonna say we should drive to Gen Con, but that's like a 27-hour drive for us.
Yeah, that is. It's a long one.
Probably not.
Just under 10 for me. So I did it before. I could do it again.
Okay, well we'll fly to you
and then drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll have some company.
Great.
All right, guys, we appreciate it. Angela, why don't you just say really quick where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Married and Bored. You can email us, hello@marriedandbored.com. I highly recommend the Critical Encounters podcast. These guys know what they're talking about.
I mean, we went pretty deep for a Married and Bored podcast today.
We did.
But if you want to dive deep into the oceans of the villains of Marvel Champions, definitely check these guys out. Thanks for making it this far, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.
You guys are going to edit, right? So, like, if we need to?
We're
live.
No.
Yeah, we don't edit. We just use AI to edit, so it's just kind of a crapshoot.